I press that, and then they can hear us. It looks like we're far away today, but we're not. We're close.
I think I'm shrinking.
Welcome to the programme.
I think I'm having a growth.
4020 live. It's all exciting. It's all new. None of it's new. None of it's exciting. It's all the same as it's ever been for the last 10
People
years.
just want to know what biscuits we're having this week.
What biscuits are we having this week?
We're having McVitie's signature chocolate cream swirls.
Ooh.
As long as they don't melt in there.
Like the return of Paul Deacon. Everything's just the same as it was. And everyone goes, oh.
Talking of Paul Deacon.
Yep.
It's a story. What role is he going to have at Wigan? Because they're going to have, by the sounds of it, 3 assistant coaches. Very few clubs have 3. Is somebody going to be leaving, and is he going to have...
Maybe we're going to copy the Saints model of having a load of people next to their head coach on the telly.
But they've got Thomas Luai attack, Sean O'Loughlin defence, very highly regarded, really, as knowledgeable as you could be in the areas where their expertise lies. Where does Paul? It's great he's back, but where does he fit in?
I think line-outs and more. No, in all seriousness, I honestly don't know. I imagine it would be attack in some role, maybe working with the half-packs. There I have Paul Grayson who works with the kickers, so... I'm just saying it's great to have someone back in the sport. Yes, definitely.
But the press release didn't say what actual role he would have. It just said he would be an assistant. It's interesting.
I think, particularly for a club like Wigan or one of the bigger clubs who obviously would spend more on players if they could, when you can't spend more than your allocated amount on players, then you spend it on things around infrastructure, coaching talent, support staff, physios, training facilities, hyperbaric chambers, whatever you...
absolutely. Yeah. No, but it's interesting that he's come back in without his role being defined.
Yeah.
Which again, would that lead to speculation that somebody was leaving, or how is he going to fit into this?
Yeah. It doesn't appear that anyone's leaving, but but in terms of people not leaving, King Arthur. Yeah.
Well, that's the other big news story today, wasn't it? Disappointing at Leeds. You must have influence at Leeds. Why can they say it until 6:30 so we could talk about it on the programme?
King of the foundation.
Used to be.
All right. Did you get kicked out in a coup?
No, my term of office came to.
So your payout, your £230,000 payout.
I instituted terms of tenure, and obviously then had to walk.
As we all know, democracy in rugby league doesn't work.
Anyway, you have to do, if you want new ideas and fresh blood. Sometimes you have to step aside
fresh blood
to bring it in.
That was in power for 17 years and comes back.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that.
Oh no, I was talking about you at the foundation.
I think the word has been getting stronger over the last sort of couple of weeks that Brad Arthur was staying, and I don't think that's entirely coincidental with the fact that Hull are likely to announce Jake as a signing for next year. He has been incredibly.
That's Jake Arthur, not Jake Connor, before people get concerned.
I don't think he'll be going back to Hull. He's been incredibly forthright about how important family is to him, and it would have been odd even for him to say, I'm going back because I need to be near my family, and then one of his sons coming and going 50 miles up the road to where he would have been. So I think that might have been the bit that at the end he decided, I can stay here, I can still have a measure of my family around me.
Would it also maybe he's not getting the Gold Coast job or the Knights job maybe?
Yeah, well, I think he'll know what is available. His agent over there will have said these are the jobs. He may well have put his name forward. Either it's a job that he doesn't want, maybe he doesn't want the Gold Coast, or maybe he does feel that he's got more to offer from a career move to stay here and take a team that already has a lot of potential to starting to fulfil it. You know, another pre-season for which he is renowned are particularly hard, and then a squad that's going to be all, apart from a couple of people that we know are going, Lasoni and Gannon, it's going to be pretty much what he had. He's got Mike Acevo to come back in, who came to Leeds because of Brad Arthur. So I suspect he may have looked at potentially a Gold Coast job and said, actually, there's more for me staying another year at Leeds.
I don't think he needs to prove anything in terms of going back to Australia.
No,
I think he did that in his time.
I don't think Parramatta have moved on since he left, particularly in terms of their league position.
No, I think you. I mean, I've not watched Parramatta closely this year, but I think they're in a rebuild phase, which may take some time. Obviously, Mitchell Moses has been out for a lot of the year, and he's by far their most influential player. So
I think the other thing about Brad Arthur re-signing, whether you're a Leeds fan or not, is that actually it is a bit of a coup for Super League.
Well, it's definitely a coup for Leeds because he's done a very good job there.
But I think as well he is the kind of coach with the kind of record behind him that he is being linked with jobs, whether the Gold Coast want him or Newcastle want him, or his name was linked with the Perth job and all. So to keep him in our competition, I think that's a bit of a coup for Super League.
No, I agree with that. I was just trying to find, because anyone who's on Super League, on Instagram, and the picture that goes, I mean, I can't really show it here, but the picture that goes up with the...
But does he ever smile, though?
I've seen him smile.
He's not one of
It's
those
like
people who
they've
smile all
announced
the
him.
time.
Just go onto the Super League Instagram and
He
breaking
just
Brad
don't
Arthur. He's frowning. It's like, could you not pick a better picture of him? Like, maybe even just like remotely happy. He's like, oh, I'm staying.
I think he's definitely a player's coach. I think that, the reaction from most of the players who've improved under him, the likes of Jake Connor, Lockie Miller particularly.
I think Jake Connor particularly.
I think they'd be really pleased that he's staying. So
we don't have a most improved player of the year award, do we? No.
I think. I think what is interesting is the rolling contract.
Well,
so it's obviously
Leeds have always done it. They did it with Brian McDermott.
So is that if you win a grand final, you roll on?
It sort of works for both sides in some ways. I think they may even have done it with Tony Smith. That if somebody doesn't want to be there, they're not tied to it. If the club wants to move in a different direction, they're not tied to it. Something that Gary Hetherington brought in on a rolling, and it sort of works. It's obvious that at some point he will go back to the NRL. It keeps it sort of gives Leeds another year to see if maybe Jamie Langley is his successor, because he's only been at the club and and worked under him for 1 year. Now, when he works under him for 2 years, he might be the man who you just go, Brad, whenever you want to go, we've got a ready-made replacement.
Maybe like Wigan bringing in more coaches. Maybe Danny Maguire will turn up at Leeds. Or,
in what role?
Well, that has been
in some random assistant coaching role.
Yeah.
You can never have enough people.
No, it's interesting. Yeah.
You can never have enough people.
No. Not even.
Are you talking about Salford, or are you?
No, we'll talk about those in it.
What will be interesting?
Sorry, there's a bad segue.
No, it's not. It's true.
What will be interesting in talking of coaches is if Andy Farrell is used in some way by Sean Wayne during this Ashes series.
Next family coach, Andy Farrell.
Because I think that would be really interesting, and also would be a great look for the sport if we take the British Lions coach in. And
is he Andrew when he's with us? And no, he's Andy with us.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting as well on coaches, because
Ben Arthur could go to Catalans at the end of this contract, and then But
again, we've done an interview with Joel Tompkins, and I'm contractually obliged to say in the new magazine.
It's here. Look. I could cover Phil's face up with it. Look, tell us about the magazine, Phil.
And
Could you just cover his face for the whole podcast?
It's bigger than me.
That's an improvement.
The rebuild of the Dragons, it's a hell of a project, because I know we'll talk about each game individually, but goodness me, If Hull Salford was a tough watch for the obvious reasons, Huddersfield Catalan was a tougher watch for rugby reasons.
Well, that's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
we'll come on to that and why.
I think I did fall asleep during it, but it was
I think-
it was quite bad. The Huddersfield Catalans. I mean, I think Huddersfield barely made an error, and they had a very simple game plan, and they executed that well. They grinded out a result.
When you've not had a great
Yes,
season, that's
yeah.
that's how you. Get
George
your confidence
Flanagan
back.
Jr. is looking like a talent, and it's great
Yeah.
to see him take his chance. But
So, and they've had
Yeah.
injuries in key positions. Lola here now out
have.
for the season, so they're limited. I think again to what they want to do and how they would like to play.
if you're Dane Gagai, you would not be going there. I mean, they
Well,
must be offering him.
other than his brothers there.
Yeah, but I mean, he could go somewhere else.
I don't like how Wakefield
Do you know what I mean?
Andrew for Featon.
Yeah, I
which we
mean,
need to
it's
talk
just
about.
not unless they're offering him, half of Yorkshire. I don't really see the appeal for someone of his pedigree.
What did Ken say on the telly? Because I missed it. This is Sky Sports' new feature, interviewing people from Rugby League to make them say silly
Well,
things.
I'll be honest. I was watching the England-Wales
You watched
women's
that as well,
at
yeah.
the same
which
time.
I completely watched. Yeah, so we'll come on to that in a bit.
So hard
we-
to hear what
no.
Ken was saying because
I mean, there was I can't remember specifically, but there wasn't anything particularly. There was some great comments
almost
about
like
Ralph
he's-
Rimmer.
Ralph is back. Yep.
Yep,
we're
Great
going to
Ralph.
move to Halifax.
Yep.
yeah. We had atmosphere at Dewsbury.
So Chris Radlinski is saying on the one hand we should never have taken a Super League game to Dewsbury. Huddersfield on the other hand are saying it's the best atmosphere we've had at Dewsbury.
I think that says more about
Sort
Huddersfield.
of tells you where the two clubs are.
Don't upset
It's a
Andrew.
bit-
We've got Dewsbury supporters watching this, so don't upset Andrew.
It's a bit like Chris Radlinski saying we didn't have any papers or analysis, and other club owners or chairmen saying,
We've
"Well,
been
we did all
discussing
this.
this for 6
Yeah,
months."
we had all this analysis." Like, well, they both can't be true. Like, someone's playing silly buggers here, and you can work out
Oh.
who that is.
Well,
but,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. I think there's.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, Phil.
There's a lot of scuttlebutt flying about from various different people. There's pictures that people want painted.
Well, the truth shall set you free, as it always does, and yeah.
If only we could get to it.
Oh no, I think we have. That's,
Can I? Talking of Salford.
Well, should we talk about Salford now?
Well,
Not the game.
I was
just-
going to take it from a slightly different angle.
Okay.
I thought everything Hull did yesterday afternoon was really classy. I thought,
the
hate
80,
that
the 80
word.
points.
I hate that.
no,
word.
I thought they're.
Apart from the mascot being in the huddle.
Well-
get out of the huddle,
That
mascot.
was, I think I saw you pointing
Yeah.
that out. That was a
I
little
thought
bit.
the.
He wanted to hug some players.
I thought Hull's players did exactly what they should have done.
Oh, yeah,
they're
yeah,
incredibly
of course.
professional.
Yeah.
They were desperately respectful, I thought, of Salford and the play. The fact that
There was a lot of celebration of tries, which was a little
but
bit.
the whole players going over to applaud the Salford fans.
Yes, yeah, that was classy.
The whole
Definitely.
fans applauding Salford out at at the start of the second half. That huddle at the end, which became the news picture, thought that was great. It hasn't happened before
was.
at any other club. I thought everything that Hull did around that game, bearing in mind that, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to speculate here. They were 50-0 up at half time. That was going to be a record score. That was going to break all of the records. It was going to be Salford's biggest ever defeat. It was going to be Super League's big. And actually, it wasn't. Now, I don't know if Hull were told
Ease off.
80's enough. That's what St Helens got.
I want my
Let's
mob-
not get to 100. Now, I'm speculating, but it almost seemed as though Hull were doing what they needed to do, but within the realm of actually saying we want to show respect to the situation here.
But the thing is, it never should have got to this stage.
No, but
Yeah.
I think we can
It's putting
talk about.
Yeah, but it's putting lipstick on a pig.
But I just wanted to praise Hull
Yeah.
for the way they approached it.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I'm not having a dig at the club's owner, but it's not a great look when you're sat next to the two owners of Salford.
The other question I was going to ask, because obviously you've done far more work on the background to the Salford
I think
situation.
I think they say everything there.
You're like a journalist.
No, I wouldn't do that. Why were the owners there?
Well, this is what
I think they go to every game.
Okay, so why would you want, if you were the arch pariah in all of this?
Yes.
You were the obvious target of
Yes.
of approbation of everybody in the game, not just
Yes.
Salford fans. Why would you be seen in public? Because They don't have to be.
Yeah.
So is
I
there
don't know.
still a chance that there is a stitch of interest in actually completing this takeover and doing what they've said they're going to do?
I think if they can get their hands on the stadium and the land, there is, yeah. But
I just don't understand why you go.
because it's owned by the council, and I'm not a Labor politician, I'm not a Tory politician, I'm not a politician at all. But I would imagine it would be political suicide to sell a stadium or land to people who have acted in this behaviour. I mean, the next election, you'd be voted out very quickly.
Clearly, there are some major question marks over these people.
That's their understatement.
Their ability to bring in the funding that they've said they're going to, but they're still there. The bit I didn't understand was when the camera panned round. They're there.
Well,
I think they have been there at every game.
But why?
Paul has said the goal of the ownership group to turn up is abysmal. Is it a surprise they turn up at a away game where they know there won't be many Salford fans there? Hull were classy, says Phil, but we don't want sympathy, we want answers. And
Yes,
No,
but they
100%.
I
think it's two different things. I think
they turn up to the home games as well, though.
I just thought it was really bizarre when the camera panned to them. I mean, what you also know is that whoever's on the commentary team is also going to lay into them. There's no hiding place. The whole fans, there was what, 11,000 there? They would turn against them. It doesn't matter how many Salford fans are there. They're walking into a cauldron that they don't theoretically need to walk into. I just wonder why they are. Not whether they should.
I think there's an element then also that if the club does go into administration, then all the debts are wiped. So there's 3 to 4 million of debt that they don't have to pay. They still own the club, and they can perhaps still secure a deal. So, do you know what I mean?
I just thought it was interesting that they would be not hiding in plain sight, for want of a better
It doesn't make any sense, does it? Why you would buy the club knowing they've got all that debt that you've got to clear? Because that's just £4 million you don't want to spend when you can just buy them out of administration
and it may well
set up
be
a Phoenix club or whatever.
That all of the stuff that has been and will be written about them is true, and they are not credible.
Who owns Salford?
Well, I think you could say they're not credible, Phil, because they've made comments that they've wiped debt and they've made promises which have not been met. So that is not credible.
So why would you put yourself in the public eye?
Who owns
Well,
Salford?
they've put themselves in the public eye in a way. It's not like they've gone live on Sky or live on this podcast or done interviews with any journalists. Yeah.
So why be seen?
Well,
there's all this talk about the supporters groups wanting the club back. And I mentioned this yesterday on Twitter, and the fact that this happened is still a disgrace. The club, under Paul King, offered shares to supporters, and not just that, but advised them about taking out loans to pay for those shares, which is beyond disgraceful. When everyone knows that in Rugby League, most of our supporters, you would assume, don't have lots of spare money around to throw away, especially not on supporting a failed business, which is what Salford Red Devils Limited or whatever they're called is. And it's not anti-Salford, it's anti all these clubs that have done this in the past. Who owns Salford? I thought the fans owned Salford. Who owns Salford? Who made the decision to sell them to these people, if these people do own Salford? We need answers. John Cartwright said after the game yesterday, I'll get the quote so I quote him exactly right. He said to Sky, "Let's just hope we find why and how and people are accountable about the Salford situation." But you know and I know, because we had this with Bradford, we've had it with Widnes, we've had it with my club Wakefield. Nothing ever gets done. We don't have an inquiry because we don't want to look into why something has happened, because if we do look into why something has happened, we might end up having to make decisions about friends of ours who ran clubs.
If we move the debate away from what I thought Hull did well in a difficult circumstance, if we move away from whether the owners have any shred of desire to carry out whatever it is they've said that they're going to do, which so far it would appear they're not going to. The culpability or otherwise of the RFL.
Well,
there was a statement put out on, was it Thursday or Friday?
Friday afternoon.
Where finally CEO Tony Sutton explained some of the rationale behind the decision to keep this car crash going when it could have been avoided.
I would just say you can't, if you just send out a statement, it's not really explaining, but yeah, okay.
But it's the first we've had, really. We had a bit of Simon Johnson explaining some of the background behind it in the final interview he did in our magazine. It raised to me a question that I put on X, which had quite a bit of reaction about. We went to the Championship and League One launch in January in Oldham, and Tony Sutton was there, and he agreed to do an all-in with whichever journalists were there, predominantly to talk about Salford, which I thought was odd because it detracted from the Championship and League One launch, because the only news story to come out of it that everybody was going to be reporting was Salford, which sort of takes the gloss off.
But that's what happens when you don't do media regularly and you don't make yourself available.
But in that press conference, he said we have contingencies, and never said what those contingencies were. We think we know 2 of them, but we don't know how many that they had. There could have been 100. One of them was to go with 11 teams, which was never going to happen because Sky were going to penalise them almost to the point of saying, we're not paying you anything, never mind what you think you might be getting. So that was never on. And the other was to line up a team to take Salford's place, which at that point in January was only really Bradford.
Yes, it was Bradford.
Now, whether anybody would have raised their hackles that, oh, here we go again, it's a way of getting Bradford in Super League. They weren't going to allow Toulouse in because there were too many issues around one French team, never mind 2 at such short notice. So the only real option, London had dropped out of Super League, all of their players had left by then, that was a complete rebuild. It was probably Bradford or nobody. Bradford were signing some players who were in Super League. They might not have been at the top of their game, but they were at least recruiting at the same kind of level that London were at the year before. Hull had obviously decided the year before that they were going to have a complete rebuild, were not competitive from sort of day one. So Bradford would have been as competitive probably as London or maybe Hull the year before, but they chose not to do it. Now I think somebody now needs to come out and the fact that we got this weekend to the 63rd jumper being played for Salford, people being interviewed, being introduced to each other on the bus, which they didn't even know was going to turn up in a kit that they didn't know if they were going to be able to wear because it may or may not have been washed. We are now 6 weeks away from the season. They'll do anything they can to make sure Salford.
It's only going to get worse. It'll get worse than it was yesterday.
What were the contingency plans? And because Salford were given a deadline to sell players and didn't, why was a sanction not then applied saying you're not in?
But you won't get answers.
No, but I'm saying that what the statement doesn't say is any of that, and I think that's the bit that's missing.
Why was Michael Carter an advisor to Salford and nothing changed? Why did they go on a pre-season tour?
He was.
Why did they employ the Happy Mondays to come and do
I
their
can answer a few of those. I think Michael Carter was sent in by the RFL, by RL Commercial, as a favour to Rodri Jones to analyse the accounts. He made recommendations to the RFL, not to the club. Right. I think his recommendation.
I apologise.
What? No, that's right. Was to sell players.
Yeah.
Now I think this is obviously the previous administration. I think they were reluctant to sell players because obviously that would make them uncompetitive, but they also were trying to get this deal done under the belief that these people had the money because they saw it in bank accounts, which is what the RFL did, which is what the Salford Council saw, was they had this pot of money. They were sold false promises. The other bit was the pre-season bit was booked and paid for months before, so they couldn't get the money back. Right. So I agree. That looked bad. But it had been paid for 6-7 months ago. The Happy Mondays was organised by the new owners. Yeah. I believe it cost 30 grand. Yeah. And they paid that, and then 6 days later, another grant. Yeah. So that is down to the new owners.
And the staff.
I do think...
And Hatch PR, there's another company they owe money to. Yeah.
I just think that all of the players that they would have had to have sold under the Carter plan, all of the players they didn't want to sell, and the sanction that wasn't then imposed on them when they didn't sell, are all of these players that have gone anyway.
No, but the thing is, I think they voted on extending the quota to allow people. So they voted against that. So that made it harder. And also the fact that they didn't sell them then. So if they sold in January, they sold Mark Sneed, Callum Watkins,
Ryan Bright.
Now name it. Well, probably, Ryan Bright. But I'm talking about the top earners. if they sold them well, because some of the
Chris
others
Hill.
left. Well, yeah, I'm talking about the top.
No, he's a top.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking the big wage
No, but
earners,
ones
the
who-
most valuable.
Well,
But
yeah.
my point is, they would have made probably 300, 400 grand, maybe more. I don't know if you look at other sales. But
plus
some
their
of them,
wage bill would have gone down.
oh yeah, of course. But they would have made, and that I imagine would have allayed a lot of the rising debt. But the fact is, because they didn't, and these players have, some of them have left because they've been breached. They've got no money for them,
Exactly.
or the management by Chris Irwin was so bad that they barely got any. I think it was 25 grand for
but
Callum Watkins.
not
So they've
only-
stuffed that up as
Yeah.
well,
Not only did they not get £500,000 that they could have got,
which would have kept them alive.
they took £500,000 of an advance
Well, that
on
was
their
before.
TV money.
That was 3
yeah,
months
but I'm just
before.
saying once you don't do what the sanction is, you're not in the competition.
Well, that's weak, but that's
You're not in the
weak.
competition.
That's weak leadership and governance from the RFL. We talk. I think we're
Which
going.
is what the coup was about.
Well, but that's no. That,
Well,
please,
I-
it's
I-
nothing
I-
to
I
do
know,
with Salford. God,
The coup,
but,
the coup was used by some people as
yeah,
a reason
and
why.
it's not. It's complete and utter bullshit.
No,
The point is, though, we talk about who's culpable. There are many people culpable, and some of the people in this mess are culpable. Are some people in the media who have tried out things which were completely fanciful.
But I also.
But there's
I
the
also
RFL,
think
there's
that,
the owners. There's
the
some
more-
agents who've tried to influence getting their players out and leaking things. There's a lot of
the
people.
point more is once you impose a sanction and it's breached, and then you don't go back and say, right, well, we have got an alternative. You know, we've given you every chance to. We've seen the money,
But Phil,
on paper, but it doesn't exist.
Phil.
That's-
Featherstone did this last year. They weren't. There's still players owing money. They've never been
Well,
sanctioned. Toronto were never sanctioned. So
the
why
bit
would you
I
expect
don't
different?
understand in the statement. What I expect different because this is an elite competition that is going on. We're now showing every game.
Is it a
So-
late competition though?
Well,
what
no,
happened
I'm saying
yesterday?
this is an elite competition. Whether it then becomes
Acts
an
like
elite
one.
competition.
Whether it acts
So
like
if
one.
if in January you could have seen that there was going to be an issue with Salford, a financial issue that was going to compromise the integrity of the. You know, we've been told a million times that the only thing that compromises the integrity of the competition are loot fixtures. Again, complete and utter bollocks, which I think we said last week. You know, the whole thing about Salford was at a point where they stopped. They refused to sell players. There was an issue there for the game
Yes.
as to is our integrity going to be compromised by the time we get to round 21 and you know, player number 63 is being introduced to the crowd and 80 is the best you can hope for.
Yep.
That's everything else I understand and it's hard to make sense of it all, but I just want to know, going right back to the beginning, what were the options that the RFL had? Make them public and tell us why you didn't go down that road.
Well, it won't happen. But I mean, we can all. Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
But I'm
in
not sure, I'm
hindsight.
saying this isn't hindsight. We saw that in January.
But it's.
Not us. I mean, the game could
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
owners
No,
of,
no, you are
the
right.
owners of the other clubs.
I think it started in November, and by January.
By January, you know that if they're not selling players, they're even breaching the sanction that the game has imposed on them.
But the RFL will
Put
say
somebody
we
else
don't
in.
run clubs. We don't
No,
say this.
but they run the integrity of the competition. That's my
And they've
point.
done a poor job of that for a long time.
So this integrity nonsense, which people are bringing up now because they're playing players in their academy, who we expect, well, they must think they must be good at some point because they're in the academy system. They've got up to player number 63. How the hell can they afford all these shirts and numbers and names? They'll make a fortune auctioning them off at the end of the season. But what about the sporting integrity of last season? They finished fourth in the table, got to the playoffs with players they couldn't afford to pay because they went, at the end of the season. When are we going to say, well, people who do this, who are involved in clubs like this, you can't be involved in the sport anymore. You can't come back and get another
the
job.
salary cap is live as well. So we had a period of time in the game where the salary cap was retrospective. So points were being taken off teams the year after they reached
I
the
marched
salary
on
cap.
Red Hall, Phil, to get our points back.
But now we have a live salary cap, so you
I
can
did.
see
you
what
have a
clubs
flag?
can or can't afford.
I think we might have taken a flag. There was 4 of us.
There's a picture of you isn't there, on the lawn at Red Hall.
John Huxley did offer us tips.
Did you get your tanks off?
Was that at the same time as somebody's franchise was being flown in by helicopter?
This was 2001 because it's just before Wakefield got points deducted for the 2000 season, which they broke the salary cap by not paying players, which was a quite unique way of not breaking the salary cap. And we're also fined £5,000 for tapping up Jason Robinson by saying in the press, we want to sign Jason Robinson. So it's fair to say Wakefield quite badly run at that point.
I don't know if that's necessarily like tapping up. Though.
Well, that's what happened.
Well, at least these
stupidity.
days there's players getting tapped up left, right, and centre, and nothing ever happens. So, well, that's
loads of questions about this. Why haven't the Salford owners been interviewed? Where is the bridging loan? Well, there's the bridging loan. There's another thing which we're told that.
Why haven't they been interviewed? You can't force.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We don't have guns.
Because
do you know
they
what I
won't.
mean?
Go and doorstep their house. We don't know where they live.
4020 line
And they're still not necessarily going to be
People don't
interviewed.
answer messages. Like there's people at the RFL
Believe-
who won't be. It won't be
Believe me,
interviewed.
lots of people have asked to interview the Salford owners.
Did the Rugby Football League pay for the coach yesterday?
I don't know.
Do we know that? Because Gary the Viking said they did, and I trust Gary.
I
the Viking,
mean, it's quite possible.
Phil, our resident Salford fan who knows that I do like Salford. Just my opinion, I think we'll be gone on the 20th of September after the final game. This has been on the card since 2013. I'm surprised we lasted this long. 3,500 fans ain't enough for a Super League club. And as Carson says,
it's actually wrong. I think they've got about 4,500.
I don't think they'll be gone. I just don't think they'll be in Super League.
Also, I don't think it'll be did he say the 20th of September? Well, I think the issue is the HMRC court date on the 3rd of September. So I don't see how HMRC, unless they see money. I mean, I'm not HMRC, obviously, but I imagine if they've adjourned once and the promise of money that hasn't then materialised, you go, well, hang on, no more.
We all get enough bloody.
There's also payroll due in 2.5 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll get that again, which we get every month, and so on and so forth. As Phil says, we're not the first, and we won't be the last, and that's the thing. I think what's happened here is it's the perfect storm of everyone's on social media now. Brian Carney's on the telly being more combative than anyone has ever been on TV about things, and he said Brad Arthur was signing. He knew. Did Brian Carney? He knows everything.
Brian Noble knew in his column. In the magazine.
That's good.
In which magazine?
That one.
4020 magazine out this week. Buy it now. It's on Phil's head.
So, Carson's mentioned Toronto, Bradford, Widnes, now Salford.
Crusaders.
Lee had a few years ago. Didn't Lee get rid of all their players at one point?
Not allowed to mention that.
But we're not allowed
Stop
to mention that
being
anymore.
negative. Positive rugby league.
Well, I'll just say Wakefield. It's happened, at least a couple of times in the time I've been watching. I remember them going to Catalans
To
with no
also
players.
be fair, it's happened in rugby.
It's happened
in football.
Sheffield Wednesday are a big story at the minute.
So
for similar reasons.
This is the issue with fully professional sport, that not everybody is capable of operating in that environment.
If I win Euro Millions and I have £100 million and I think, right, I'm going to reset up South Wales Scorpions, I'm going to put all my money into them. It doesn't matter if not. Yeah, but it's difficult getting visas and stuff, isn't it? South Wales.
They don't want North Koreans.
Not if you pay Kim.
Well,
A French and a North Korean team in. The owners wouldn't want it.
Wales hasn't
not
broken away.
Indochina.
Wales hasn't broken away yet, and I'm not sure about Scotland, so we'll stick with Wales. So I set up South Wales Scorpions. I've got £100 million. I don't care if no one comes to watch the games. In fact, no, I'm going to block no one can come in. We're going to play all our games behind closed doors, but I can fund it, so it doesn't matter. And that's basically what Huddersfield are doing right now. But if you haven't got someone with lots of money, you are screwed, because that's the problem. That's the problem for all.
But every Super League club lost money last year, so it's not unique.
If you can afford to pay the losses,
but the other thing.
But no one is going to be able to afford the plus.
The independent panel that is going to decide on teams 13 and 14, if indeed we get to teams 13 and 14.
Independent panel.
Is not.
So that was
really,
air quotes for audio listeners.
He's not really interested in anything other than, if they don't get a full distribution, have they got an owner that can top it up?
But Salford have an owner with money, because we've seen the RFL have seen the money. But
Well, they haven't. They've seen it on paper. They haven't.
But David Argyle had money. Didn't work well.
He had money to the point where he was paying for so much that he didn't have money.
So, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But I'm just saying...
There's lots of people who have money, but they still don't want to spend it.
The criteria of being allowed into Super League when we expand...
We don't know what the criteria is for.
Is purely going to be, do you have an owner that will put down either a bond or...
Is that an exclusive?
No, that
No, but no one
that's
knows
it.
what the
That's
criteria
it.
is.
The
It hasn't-
criteria is if you can
hasn't been.
if you can keep your club afloat
For 1 year.
for 1 year initially, but ideally more than 1 year, because we don't know what's happening in 20
No,
years.
not by round 21. It's like around 20.
Ideally.
You can die on the day of the
Yeah.
grand final, but not before that.
Because but the point
Sorry,
is
not
that
to be flippant, but-
that is professional sport.
We're keeping
And
some on
if you-
life support just so we can get their money until the
If
end
you
of the
look
season.
at every football team in the Premier League, particularly the ones that come up, it's all about, have you got an owner that can spend, not an individual in this case, these are corporate conglomerates that can spend the kind of money that can sit you alongside Manchester
But
City.
it's not true though, Phil, because if you look at the wage bills, I remember it was a couple of years ago. Actually, it might have been last year, the year before. I think it was like Sheffield United was spending 120 mil less than Man City was. So you don't actually need to spend. It's the same. I mean, it's not the same in
But
Super
then
League,
you get
but
relegated.
yeah,
You're not competitive. But the minimum you have to have is that kind of ownership model.
it's a lot
Not-
easier to be more competitive in football than
Nothing to
without.
do with how many fans you get through the door or corporate sponsors you bring in or central income from broadcasting deals. It's about wealthy owners
Well, that's
in
Paul-
every professional sport.
As Paul has said, it's not just the RFL that due diligence is awful. The process it needs serious refresh in all sports. Well, I mean they're trying to do it in football, aren't they? With
The regulator.
the minister
new-
for the Secretary of State for
Lisa
sport,
Nandy.
culture, media, all that stuff. National heritage
Wigan-
it was under
Opera.
Wigan,
Hello.
Wigan's Lisa Nandy.
Wigan's Lisa, as it was in the days of Chelsea fan David Mellor, the National
But
Heritage.
they're trying to get
Isn't he a mad shagger?
they're
No, he
trying,
was not singing. He got sprung.
Well, she was.
they're
Sorry.
trying to get an independent regulator, aren't they?
Yeah. Are we going to get one of those? Can we have one of those as well? Can we have one for all sport?
I don't think we're big enough, are we?
We've got some
Yeah,
mad shaggers though.
Well, we've
so
got, we've got Lisa Nandy on board now. She likes Wigan and everything.
I saw a posting about Morecambe. I didn't see a posting
Well,
about
I mean, who
Salford.
cares about Morecambe? And here's the problem with these things.
Your mate Tyson.
Here's the thing about Morecambe and all these football clubs. You remember Leeds United were in financial difficulties a while ago. You remember
do.
Leeds United? You remember Leeds United?
The goldfish bowl and everything.
Yeah. And then Uncle Ken come in and save them, but they don't like
That's
to.
all-
They don't like to. They
all
don't like
Harry's
to credit
fault.
Uncle Ken. Yeah. This podcast wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Ken Bates. It's ridiculous. But if you're a big enough
Because you
club,
stole that microphone.
no, I've paid for that. If you're a big enough club, whether you're in football or rugby union or whatever, and enough people care, you'll stay alive. But the Wasps aren't here. Bury are in God knows what non-league division they're in now. Bolton survived because someone came along and wanted to keep them alive. Someone will save Sheffield Wednesday. I know that's disappointing news, John, because we all hate the Wednesday, but they will. Someone
I
will
have
come.
no-
Biggie scum.
I have no feelings
Oh,
for
go
the
on.
Wednesday one way.
Yeah.
Someone will come along and save them. And the problem is, God, thank goodness for Matt Ellis. But who knows what would happen if he wasn't there?
And
I'm
again,
not,
we
it's-
said it last week, and you can't say it enough. The model that people are using, why we need to expand Super League, is because 3 teams have done it really well. Hull KR, Lee and Wakefield, and all of them have had wealthy owners.
That's just how sport is funded. If we run sport as a proper business, as I assume it was in the days of Michael Carter, the Carter regime at Wakefield, where they didn't spend money they didn't have or couldn't afford, and were relegated off the back of that.
And he was pillaged for that.
And he was pilloried for that. But he could have done what Salford have done.
But he managed to get a new stand.
Yeah, but if you want all clubs to be run like that, it ain't going to happen because we don't live in that sporting utopia. But that's been the same from day one. When the Premier League football came in, Blackburn Rovers won the title because Jack Walker had a load of money from whatever he made money from.
Absolutely.
And then instead of Jack Walker now it's the Saudi Arabians or whatever. I don't know where the next arms race comes
Saudi
from.
Arabians who are going to be investing in Rugby League.
In Rugby League, yeah.
It's big in Riyadh, is it?
It's going to be
huge.
huge.
Oh.
It's going to be.
Is women's rugby league big in
It's
Saudi
going to be
Arabia, or is that
the hottest ticket in Oman. It's going to be.
literally the hottest ticket?
But
yeah.
great sympathy with the Salford fans. I've been there. I know what it's like.
I don't think there's any question that we know who all the victims are in this, and that is the Salford fans, the staff, and the players. And I don't think you can stress that enough. But that's a given.
But fingers crossed, there'll be a Salford. If it's not in
There will
the
be.
Super League, it will be in whatever is. What's going on outside of Super League next year? They had a meeting last week. And what did they decide? Sod all.
Well,
so what's
can
the point?
Apparently, they don't have the they don't have the power to actually
So
make
the Super League clubs have
charge.
Super League clubs have the power to do whatever
Yes.
they want. The Championship and League One clubs, they don't
Nigel
have any
Wood
power.
and his cabal have the
But
power.
not only did they not have the answer, but they've asked for suggestions on the back of a postcard.
Did you send one in?
Close down. Just give up.
Sincerely from Roundhay, Phil Kaplan.
The other clubs, just put all the teams in a hat, draw the clubs out in different divisions, like Peter Fox said. Peter Fox knew.
Is that a serious?
Yeah, Peter
Was
Fox.
that like Nigel Wood's thing about a little knock-ons are okay?
Well, it's got to make the sport entertaining. Yeah, I'll find the article out in the early 90s when they were looking at new formats of rugby league.
Because we've never done this before.
No, there was
Could we have Saddleworth Rangers for
yeah,
Wigan?
there was the Gary Hetherington plan, which was 3 divisions, which they went with.
Yep.
I mean, why we listen to Gary Hetherington, I don't know. But instead of, we should have listened to Peter Fox, who said, put all the names in the hat, draw out 3 divisions. Which would have been great fun. Wigan versus Runcorn Highfield, or whatever they were called at that point.
Bramley v Saints.
Yeah. We've done it before. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. So we don't know what's happening. People ask us what's happening with the Championship League One. We don't know.
There's 2 options on the table at the moment because the conferences of 7 was ruled out.
Oh, right.
So it's either one division of 21
Excellent, yeah.
with
Love that.
fixtures tailored so that you won't play everybody home and away,
Right, yeah.
or 2 conferences, east and west, or anything else that you can come up with
Because I didn't realise
by
until...
next Wednesday on a sealed down envelope posted to the Etihad Stadium.
All I know about Rugby League is what I hear Brian Carney say on the telly. So when he mentioned the way the NRL draw is made, which is completely made up for...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's got loot fixtures and everything.
I know,
Wow.
and they pick games that might be
And it works.
for TV viewers and stuff.
I know, because that actually makes money.
Yeah.
And rivals,
It builds the profile.
rivalries play each other more than once.
Because I don't pay any attention. It's just on the telly on a Saturday morning. I was watching Rugby League on this.
The book of feuds.
Here's a load of big fellas running into each other. Great, right, let's watch this for a bit until something else comes on. I didn't realise it was such a stage-managed competition.
Some of which is.
But does anyone kick off about that in Australia?
Isn't played.
I mean, minorly.
But they don't have like hours in podcasts saying, "Oh, this is."
Well, they don't use it as an excuse to
No,
to do
and
other things.
some of the
yeah.
games, you're not going to believe this. They're taken out to country areas to further the sport.
Darwin,
Is that like
Mudgee, and
is that like on like a country practice
And
like
like
that?
fans don't complain. They
Remember
lose a home fixture in the sense that
I do
it's
remember
not at their local
sure.
stadium. It's actually
used to
played
watch it.
elsewhere,
Sons and daughters. Yeah.
and it works.
I know, it's
Bloody
crazy.
hell!
I think the thing about loot fixtures, and I was chatting to someone senior at Super League today. I mean, the thing is, not all loot fixtures. So, for Wigan,
Yeah.
another loot fixture against St Helens or Lee
exactly.
is going to
Hull-
bring
Hull-
20,000 or 10,000.
Hull and Hull KR,
Yes, yeah.
Wakefield at home to Leeds.
So you can't make a broad and
you can't.
yeah.
It's that nobody wants their loot fixture against Catalan, Huddersfield, or
Salford.
Well, but just like Catalans and Huddersfield play each other all the time. They would just cut them out of the competition. Get
And
them over there.
Dewsbury or
Wherever they want. Batley. Have some pie and peas. New, freshly refurbished turnstiles in the paper. All that kind of stuff. I do like how we just... everything just wanders into it. I can't cut a bit out. Here's us talking about Salford and us talking about the NRL draw. That's my fault. It's just how it is. Speaking of things from podcasts in Australia, we'll come on to yours in a minute.
I don't have a podcast.
No, but things said on podcasts in Australia.
Oh, right.
We'll come on to that in a minute. But
Can we talk about things on Instagram from
we
players?
can talk about
'Cause
that.
that
I
was
mean,
funny.
the floodgates are open now. Apologies to all our younger listeners for the terrible bad language, but this is what happens when you let Australians on your program. I was watching
Convicts,
Loud
dirty
yeah.
mouths.
I was watching Cherries on Top, which is the Cherrington.
Don't look at me.
That sounds
Don't
like an
look at me.
adult.
No, it's the Cherrington Sisters podcast.
Oh right, okay. Right,
Because they
fair
were talking about international eligibility because it's a hot topic in rugby league because of origin and
Yes, they're
One of the
talking about
change-
enough.
changing,
But they're just changing it to help England be more
changing the
competitive.
women's tiers to
Yeah.
help England be more
because
competitive.
Kennedy's played
Yeah,
for
so
Australia.
we're manufacturing no integrity, but
No.
Competitive.
Actually, this links into
But
the-
actually, they are heritage players. It's just because they've played for Australia, do they get dispensation to play for another tier 1 nation?
it links into England.
just
Wales.
one tier.
The gap is huge.
But Kennedy's played for Australia because she played in the World Cup, and Ruben, her sister, might be playing for New Zealand because they're Maori because they play for Maori All Stars, so they can play for both. But they did talk about hopefully one day coming to play in Super League, but only if the seasons didn't quite overlap, because then they can come over and they could play for Page's team, and they said that in a really bad. What's Page Travis's accent?
That's St Helens.
Yeah,
Merseyside.
it's kind of like mucky Scouse, isn't it? It's like it's not quite Scouse, it's not quite Mancunian.
Where's
it's
me
that bit in the
lemon,
middle.
lad? Well, that
Yeah.
kind of... No.
Just upset all our Scouse listeners. So they said they could play for either Page's team or Catalan Dragons, but I didn't have the heart to email them and say they're not in the women's.
There's a lot of people... Well, there's also a lot of people in Australia who geography is not a
well,
strong point.
Well, you know, the Eiffel Tower's in London, isn't it? For people who
Don't
remember
think
that
it
one.
is, but,
That's what Robbie Slater thought. Was it Robbie Slater?
It was somebody on the 2000.
Robbie Slater?
2003.
Robbie
squad.
Slater.
Robbie's a
played-
footballer, isn't he?
He played for Southampton
Robbie Kearns,
and...
Robbie someone. Someone Robbie.
Probably
Kearns.
Robbie Kearns,
Someone
yeah.
Robbie.
I mean, he's the one who fell off the horse and missed Origin, but yeah.
Well, we'll come back to...
And Adrian Morley. He fell onto Adrian Morley's swinging arm, of course,
well, yeah.
and then dived.
Which I do like how we're selling the Ashes tour on. Man got sent off in first second. Come buy tickets.
Even though that doesn't exist anymore.
No. We'll come on to the England-Wales thing in a minute. What? So David Fafita scored a try in the grand final when he was a Wakefield player.
2016. So a podcast in Australia has. I mean, I think it's tongue in cheek, but James Maloney. I think it's the Journeyman podcast. Yeah.
Because he played in Super League, he's a journeyman.
No, I think it's because he's with guy. His name escapes me. Played for the Dragons. He's a good mate of James Graham's, prop forward. Yeah.
I don't know any Australian players apart from the women.
That could be taken many different ways, but can we talk about Jazz Tavanga, soon to be Wakefield
Well,
forward?
you have to finish this.
David
story.
Fafita scored a
Sorry.
try in the grand
David
final.
Fafita
Yeah,
scored.
he pretended to be Eddie's brother.
Can't leave people on the edge of their seats.
Well, yeah, he's apparently Andrew was sick on the day of the grand final because they are identical twins.
Yeah.
That's the conspiracy theory. Are we?
Do you reckon when
Spreading
he was good
conspiracy
at Wakefield we got Andrew, and when he was not as
No.
good we got David?
No.
Bit harsh. But anyway, so Jazz Tavanga, new Wakefield superstar.
Do you know much
Jazz
about him?
Tavanga I know it's called Jazz, which is a great name.
He's a hooker.
Shares his name with a
Oh,
radio.
and a loose forward.
Shares his
Kiwi.
name with a radio station.
He is with Samoan heritage. Has played for Samoa last year against England on these shores.
Played for New Zealand Warriors. Made
He
his
did.
name there.
He did. He joined Manly at the end of last year. And he
Career plummeted the minute he did that.
played for Manly against Canberra on Friday. And I think Manly scored early. And he did the Viking clap, which they don't like because that's their clap. You can't do it to them. So Canberra then responded, being top of the NRL as they are,
Playing
to
very
score
well.
Sorry,
a lot of
He
points.
didn't even
very
score the try.
No.
So
no.
he's taking-
It was just, he
Tom
was trying
Tavares
to.
scored a try. And then
He was trying to cord
line him
up the locals, but then it seems like after Canberra won the game quite convincingly.
28-12.
Yes, he went on to.
Manly scoring a try in the last minute.
A few people jumped on his Instagram and proceeded to troll him, which he responded. I think this is the highlight of the comment. There was numerous comments, but it's only footy, lad. 1 week you love me, next week you hate me. Both weeks get paid, so suck me off, fanboy. With a blowing kiss emoji.
Yeah.
He'll get
So,
down
yeah.
that way for
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get it on t-shirts,
yeah.
Matt.
the
With
round the
your,
Hepworth Gallery.
I think that's called IMG fan engagement. Yeah.
that's a
Talking
fan
of,
engagement of a different
talking of
kind.
IMG, you've written a story today
I have.
about viewing figures being 43% up.
Year on
Won't
year.
go into any further detail because read it on Patreon. How much of that is down to IMG? Because that one of the briefs
very
they
good
were
call.
given was to increase the value of the broadcast product, so that when we go in and negotiate the
Yes.
next deal, we can at least sit round the table and go, you probably want to give us the same, you might want to give us less. We've given you 50% more viewers.
Yeah.
So can we have... How much of that is down to
Well, I think
the work that IMG
yeah.
do that they get derided for?
I don't see a lot of the work they do, so that's a really hard question. It's a very good question, but it's hard to answer. But I think you can look at several metrics, and obviously ratings being one being up, which is great. Crowds are up in Super League, which is great. I mean, you can say,
That's
okay,
mainly because London came
was
down
about-
and Wakefield.
I was
went,
about to say that, but there are significant clubs.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think Wigan are
We're going to
averaging
really up
17.
Yeah,
you know,
and
they
they've got
average
another game this week. They'll get 20.
yeah,
which is
and they
brilliant.
average 14. You know, and I'm guessing, but Leeds crowds are probably
Leeds
up.
are up.
Leeds crowds are probably up.
Yeah.
Wakefield weren't in Super League, but
Yeah.
they're massively up on what they used to be. So Hull KR's crowds, I imagine,
Yep.
Hull FC's crowds are probably up.
That'll be about the same. I would have thought, but the trend is upwards.
Yes, so that's another metric.
But I'm just interested in the IMG. A lot of what they do is discernible. It is indiscernible in the same way that marketing, you can't go, if I spend £1 and I mark it, will I get £2? You know, if you don't mark it, nobody will know that you've even spent £1. So it's difficult. But
I like your Mad Men.
have the profile of the players increased a bit?
I don't think.
Are more people going to the games because they've got the every game is now televised, which again IMG helped build into the current broadcasting deal, and then you can tell stories. Some of them are bad stories about Salford, but more people know that we're going to play in Hull KR this week, and it's a top of the table clash. They might have done under previous years.
It's hard. It's really hard to say because I don't think
Harry Smith was at the cricket
100
and people were at the.
I made a thing about Dryfield playing for Australia, which was wrong.
But all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I don't think there's a discernible impact in terms of. I don't think the profile of the players has increased. I think certain clubs, particularly.
Leading chairmen are always on bastard podcasts.
What's going on with the Swins?
Yeah,
What happened to the heat, isn't it?
There's no need for
At least we
that.
haven't said the
Language, Phil.
We haven't said the bad word.
That's not
all
foul
right.
language. That is the Queen's English. Yeah. That is in the dictionary.
I don't think the profile of the players has
King's
increased,
English,
but I think clubs are doing better engaging their own fans and being out in the community.
Yeah, but is that some tools that IMG
I think that's
because again,
I think digital engagement. I think that's
the method of digital engagement is partly what IMG have done with every club.
I think that's played a part. I think things like Wigan, that was a massive publicity boost for the whole competition, the whole sport, and that was obviously done by Las Vegas, not Wigan.
Yeah.
That was done by Wigan and Warrington,
Absolutely.
but I think there are other things. But I mean, if you look at overall footprint, you could say, well, there's less media outlets covering the game, there's less publications.
But that's going to happen everywhere. That's going to happen unless you're football. Fishing is now covered in the Angling Times.
But
there's not going to be a column.
I think even though you could say Sky could do a lot more promotion of Rugby League, I think they've under this TV deal. If you go on the Sky Plus, you see so Michael Lewis I think they do a bit more promotion than they have previously.
Also think that
there's the BBC deal.
The interview of Ken Davey is now becoming a regular. You are now getting news stories out of the games that they were just
better than just tumbleweeds at half time. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get that on Sunday when St Helens and Huddersfield is on the BBC.
But I think just going back to the TV deal, I think there are a number of things that you need or have to be in play for you to get a better TV deal. Competition is another one, is a big one.
It's the biggest one.
Then you've got other properties, so you've got darts got more money, women's football got more money, EFL got a lot more money.
Yeah.
The Premier League actually per game got less money. So there's not an unlimited amount of money to go out. So that's another thing.
How did darts and women's football get more money?
Well, a couple of ways. Participation increased.
Because
media coverage increased massive.
But
sponsors increased.
Because viewership increased.
Yes, that's the one thing. Yeah, so that's a big thing.
If we're 43%,
but I don't think our media profile nationally has increased a lot. But crowds are up, ratings are up, and they're positives.
Yeah, I also think that there is one other factor as to whether we will get a comparable or greater TV deal, and that is Sky are holding off until they know what they're paying, if anything, for Champions League football. We had it the last time there was a deal. It was the EFL. We were going to do 7 million EFL games. We're going to have to pay all the production costs because every game's going to be behind a red button. Oh, by the way, Rugby League, that only leaves us a little bit for you. The same is going to happen with the Champions League. There is Sky, I think, are bidding for at least one, maybe more, of the packages.
Yeah.
And if they get it and get Champions League back, that's huge. But that's taking budget from us.
Yes. So those are other considerations.
So that's probably the biggest consideration.
Since August of 1992, the biggest thing that has sold Sky dishes and subscriptions now is not The Simpsons, it's not the films, it's never the films. It's never the films. That's where BSB went wrong. It was never the films. It's always been Premier League football.
Or Champions.
I think that's the whatever country you're in. It's live sport is the.
It's the only thing
driver.
Left.
Yeah,
It now is the only thing left.
But I do think having every game on has given us narratives.
And I know people
And I
say...
think people, it might not be in conventional media anymore. It's not a narrative that
I
you're
think
going to read in
the
the
quality
Times.
of coverage is reduced though.
But I
if
do
you look
think
compared to a
more
decade ago.
people on social media, like Jazz Tavanger on Instagram, are talking about the game.
Well, if any
I
clubs...
don't think suck me off
You
fanboy
didn't
is
have to say
talking
it
about
twice.
about the game.
I was
Phil.
merely alluding to the coverage. It's
It's
different.
better than some people we've imported over to Super League have done in the past.
Didn't want
But
to pass you that twice.
if anyone clubs want to buy some extra IMG points, they can buy my TikTok
I
account.
thought you were going to say something
Yeah,
else.
well, they can buy those as well. buy my
Buy my tips.
coming on to
Really? What, you're going to have advertising
No,
on? No,
don't say that. No, they can buy my TikTok account where I've had 225,000 views of Wheelchair Rugby League at the weekend. So they can buy that
225,000
views.
Can you monetize TikTok?
I think you
Not
can.
yet, or
Yeah, well, I can't, but
of a game that, with the greatest respect, wasn't a championship decider.
it was just
was a
Nathan
league
Collins
game.
kicking a goal.
Which was very one-sided.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to buy that, they can feel free to do so. The profile of the top darts players and women's football players is far higher than any Super League player, says Phil. And the problem is, we've got this podcast on every week, and every week it's the bloody chairman and people on. We need to speak to the players more. This is what went wrong with Super League's official podcast, which haven't replaced.
Well,
it's too many times it wasn't people.
Who was the guy that Robert Elston bought in? Wore the pork pie hat.
Oh, you did.
City Talk.
You were on his TV programme.
Yeah. City
Lee,
Talking. Lee.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, sorry. I will find his name.
All,
I'll just
all
TV
that
program.
he was talking about was promoting the players, and we didn't want to pay what he needed us to pay for him to be
Lee
able
Hicken.
to promote.
Well,
the
I
players.
think it's interesting that because, and some weird fanboys have tried to do this sort of reverse. Robert Elston did everything bad. I remember, was it the 2020 season or was it the 2019? Obviously, we had an Amazon, we had the We Play League, or we had an Amazon documentary. We had Sonny Bill Williams coming in. We had Toronto coming in. There was a launch at Headingley.
It was packed.
There was a Inside Super League. There was a TV show. There was money being spent on marketing.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to take time, and there was people critical of how much they were spending. Then COVID hit, and that all.
But the principle behind it.
Well, is sound. Yeah.
Is what we need to be doing. That's part of the reason why we haven't got our players elevated to the level that
I think
the new.
I think it's interesting on that, and it was actually something Chris Radlinski told me a while ago when Billy Boston was obviously got his knighthood. It's quite a cultural thing that we don't, we have this humble working class.
It's on our
so you can't
DNA.
You can't be a star because look at him, he's a wanker. Yeah. But we actually need to change that because we're never going to get those big names.
We need rivalries. We need coaches.
It's not just rivalries. We need we need brash.
Coaches say we don't want. We
need the Martin the Fire style. Yeah.
Mikey Lewis against Jake Connor, which is how Leeds are building up the game a week on Thursday. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
But they're not arguably both polished media.
No, but build up the rivalry. Oh, these are two guys that.
But we need them also to engage, and we need them to promote themselves. But if you've got a
limited budget.
Yeah. But they've all got Instagram they've all got their own social channels. You've got to use it though in a way. I'm not sure if anyone's seen it, but Ryan Madison, Phil's favourite player at Warrington, does some interesting stuff on Instagram. Edits his own videos, reels about. He's putting interesting content out there.
The last 2 weeks, he's been the best thing about Warrington.
When you were slagging him off 3 weeks ago.
No, I didn't. I just asked why they'd signed him with 8. What did they hope to get with 8 weeks of the season still to go? That's not slagging him off. Asking a question, and it is what this
you
podcast
and your
is all
bastard
about.
sardonic questions. He's got 84,000 followers.
That's more than I've got.
And he's got, he you can tell he obviously he spends
can't-
time, creating content, putting it out there, engaging with
and
people.
he
That's
came over
great.
and said, I'm only on loan. I'll be back at Parramatta next year. And I just thought, what a worrying. Not what he's doing. He's been great in the games that I've seen him. It's like, what's the point?
And that's different to what I was talking about.
Hopefully, more players will do more content. He says.
But I think
perhaps knowing
as
something,
you
but
know,
not
as someone who's an expert in the women's game, but there's a lot of women's players like Emily Rodge and others who do some quite interesting things with social media. But there seems to be more of that in the women's game than in the men's game.
and they seem to speak. Not
They
freely,
get the idea though
not
that they
freely
have
in
to
interviews,
try
but
and
they're
encourage.
more-
But they're not
approachable.
Paid, they're not paid, are they? They're not professionals.
No,
So
it's
It's very hard to prevent them doing it.
Frank
But
says,
you shouldn't be preventing anyone
no,
to do it,
but-
do you?
but yeah,
Yeah.
some clubs will.
But there are some players that perhaps you don't want to do it.
Yeah, certainly. Like treating
So
like Tommy Robinson.
It does have to be regulated.
Frank says that it's down to Sky Sports. They don't give something about rugby league. They do. That's why they
do.
put all the money in.
They do.
But they've got a whole
not-
million things to
It's
promote
not down,
all the time.
but it's also not down
No,
them
it's
to
down
make.
to us.
Yeah.
But if we keep speaking to the same people all the time
Hmm.
and tell the same stories all the time, how many times are we going to have Zach Hardaker's story out there? We need to talk to different people.
Which story is the?
We've
Hardaker
still
story?
got the Leon Price, my
hero, yeah, going round and
which
round
is
and round.
like
Yeah,
2019 that was filmed.
we need to speak to different people. We need to
Bondi
tell
and
different
Snodsford's
stories.
Blackpool.
We need to create
That was a
more
story.
stars. We've got to create
Yeah.
stars.
Well, we don't have to create
Look at
them.
Luke Littler.
We don't have to create them. We've got them.
Luke
We
Littler
have
came
to
from
promote
nowhere
them.
because if
It's a
you
bit harsh. Paul Warrington nowhere.
if you if you don't know anything about darts, he came from nowhere. If you do, you knew he was going to be a big thing. But Sky and the PDC have capitalised on that. What do we do with anyone?
Well, what did I see on Instagram?
Julian
This-
Sanders is a star. He looks like
They
a
are,
star.
yeah, they are trying to
He
push
And
looks
his,
him.
like
and
a
his
star.
backstory is fantastic.
But who did I see on Instagram this week on Bo Ryan? You remember him from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Footy Show, played for
Yeah,
West
yeah, yeah.
Tigers, and Adam Woods, the grub calling kangaroo. Yeah, Triple M show, Triple M radio show, which is a big on NRL. Luke Littler on. Because I
So in
think there's
Australia,
a dance
He
tournament in
won
Wollongong.
But the great thing
Yeah.
is, the tournament he won in Australia, which was covered on the BBC website and so on, it's a glorifying exhibition. It's a televised one, but it's not a major. But it's
But
like
surely the Hearns, the Matchroom go, okay, you've got to speak to this radio
Yeah,
station,
yeah.
this TV station, sit
Or-
down with this,
Or they're
this
clever, They're
podcast.
clever enough to know that he's a rugby league fan. They're clever enough to know that rugby league
Well,
is
that's
the biggest
strategy.
sport in
That's
the
strategy.
eastern seaboard
Yeah.
of Australia. So, Luke, will you go to a game? Luke, will you go on a program? It's like,
But there's two things.
Yeah.
You have to have either someone who knows that or has that strategy, and also an athlete who's willing to do it.
Yeah.
And there's not always both of those things in rugby league.
I think George Williams and Jack Wellesby going around the 100 days on the red bus was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I
And
think that was a good
being
promotion.
on Talk Sport for half an hour. And,
But we need more than that.
yeah,
just
no,
as a
but I'm
one-off.
just saying
yeah.
that shows
Clubs
what,
should be doing
what
it.
we can do.
But
And
we didn't-
George speaks well, Jack speaks well,
But Phil,
Harry Smith speaks well.
we didn't do this for Tonga. We didn't do it
No,
for
no, because we
Samoa.
haven't got any money.
We did do, but a lot of those things don't necessarily cost money.
Maloney. What's he called? James Maloney's
James
podcast.
Maloney. The
Toby
journeyman.
Rudolph and Jeremy Lattimore.
Yes, Jeremy Lattimore.
That's
that's
the
the one,
so
yeah.
there you go. Thank
And the
you.
professor from used to be on the Matty John show. What?
Phil says we need to get the Castleford scrum half to do more interviews about things. But
Matt Clouds.
No, not that scrum half.
Oh.
Joe Westerman, he was playing 7 this weekend.
I mean, I'd love to see him with the Greg's partnership.
Right.
I think that could be. You know what I mean? If you're Greg's, they could. Like
I'm not,
Paddy
I'm
Power.
Not, I'm not sure it's the image that perhaps Greg
Chris
will.
says.
But you know how Paddy Power, are very cheeky, and Ryanair are very
Yeah.
cheeky with their promotions. I
Paddy
think,
Power are great.
yeah. They've
But
Can I just for the-
but our sport is funded by Betfred.
Can I just
so-
say,
yes.
Paddy Power not as great as any company I work for. Chris says.
No, their adverts are great.
Yeah.
gamble
I
responsibly.
think
Gamble
Wait,
Are there
I'm Joel.
adverts-
What's his name?
Are their adverts sardonic?
No, I think they're destructive.
Yeah, just take the Mickey, don't they? Chris says Warrington don't need any more social media content. Yeah, now I know what they were talking about last week. It was the video with Ben Westwood. After that defeat
yeah.
against
The
whoever.
thing that people don't seem
timing.
to understand, and I agree, yeah, maybe the time isn't, but you have a marketing department and you have a rugby department. They're not the same
But
department.
also-
Just because the club or the CEO is doing interviews doesn't mean they're even though your team's not doing well, they don't necessarily conflict. It's not one budget being
But-
spent. You have a business. There
Yes.
are different components.
But Ben Westwood, still the best player from Normanton called Ben,
Okay.
retired how many years ago? He's not relevant
10,
anymore.
8, yeah.
I know he's a comedy character and
It's
everything. He's
certainly
great.
not as relevant as let's
Mark
say,
Sneed,
Matt
George
Duffy,
Williams,
Matt Duffy.
Matt
Oh
Duffy.
no.
But it's that kind of shut up and play philosophy that you can't in 2020. I was going to say 2021. It's 2025, isn't it? You can't operate in that. Oh, just win games, and then you need to do more than that. And the top sports do that.
Yeah, but you also have to be sensitive to the fact that what sells your business is how the team are playing. And if you're going to do a comedy video that actually isn't very funny, with somebody who actually isn't very relevant,
that's a different
you've
argument.
missed the mark.
Yes, I don't disagree with that. That is a separate component. Yeah.
This show's gone off the rails today.
What rails?
Yeah, what rail?
The bastard rails?
HS2.
It was never on the rail.
HS2.
More than Titanic.
The England wheelchair squad's been announced, which is interesting. We'll talk about that at another point. Fingers crossed.
Well, the only thing I would say
is
10 players have been selected. Congratulations to every single one of them.
Yes.
And they're going to have
including a player from Castleford,
who used to play for Leeds and then went to play basketball and has come back. Fantastic. Great story. Mm-hmm. There is one player missing, or not selected.
Not Tom Playboy because he's injured.
No, who happens to be
Wheel of Steel.
The Wheels of Steel. That's caused some controversy in the wheelchair game. Even Wigan players were going on social media to say, why has this player not been selected?
Can I ask a question, Phil?
You can ask.
As you were on the advisory council or the advisory board, or what's happened to the wheelchair Premier League concept?
Strategic group.
Yes, strategic group. Because you love a bit of strategy.
Club-led strategic work.
It was the Judean People's Front of reviews.
Apparently, the proposals that were worked up are still there.
Are they getting dust, or
the official line would be, I suspect, although I don't know, because that particular group hasn't met for quite some time.
Right.
Is because of the shake-up at the RFL, investors have taken a step backwards, wanting to know what's happening with the sport. Right. But the concept has been agreed in principle.
Right. But it ain't
going to happen in January 2026.
Yeah. Because that is, I think most people would agree that the wheelchair game needs investment and needs something.
We've spoken about this before, but if you look at everything in isolation, which in a lot of respects people at the RFL do, it's like performance units there, the men's games there, the women's games there, the wheelchair games there, and we've got people that look after each, and because you only have 16 people playing, you get a proportion of the money we've got for 60. What nobody tends to realise, I think, having been involved in a little bit of wheelchair and being on a foundation that provides wheelchair,
and in the amateur game,
is wheelchair is the big driver for rugby league, if we allow it to be. And wheelchair can get to places very quickly that rugby league in a running game can't. So I think we've said this before, and this is something that I've brought up on a number of occasions in these groups, is that in other sports such as football, quite big, I'm told, in this country, clubs have foundations, and like our foundations, they want to offer the widest possible option that they can to everybody that comes into under their brief. Banner. And what they don't have is a wheelchair option. So you can have walking football, you can have blind football, you can have masters football, whatever it might be. But what they don't have is a wheelchair option. There is no such thing as wheelchair football. It's unlikely that there's ever going to be. But you could go to pick out 3 foundations that I think Leeds were trying to benchmark themselves against. Spurs, Sunderland and Plymouth, who are all brilliant in the communities that they operate in. Quite some of the most deprived areas, particularly the White Hart Lane area of Spurs is a really deprived area of London. Sunderland, obviously, very deprived area. Plymouth, lost traditional industries. Those 3 foundations are doing fantastic work. We could go as a sport to them and say, you get some wheelchairs which you can apply for through your foundation and you will get. We will license you to play this sport, and if you get enough people playing it and we can give you some opponents and you enjoy it, Wheelchair Super League in 2027 We won't be looking to bring in Warrington. We'll be looking to bring in Tottenham Hotspur.
That'd be
We'll be
great.
looking to bring in
Yeah.
Sheffield United. We'll be looking to bring in Rangers. And you could spread the game of rugby league because it is an entry. Wheelchair, irrespective of the scores of the games, people watch it and are blown away by it because they don't think it can be done. And it's not murder ball, which is rugby union. It's proper rugby league, and it gets people into saying, well, if they can do this in wheelchairs, I might watch Wigan and Hull KR on Friday night because I've heard that that's a big game. And oh wow, this is guys who aren't in wheelchairs, but it's the same thing. It's 6 tackles, it's smashing each other about. And I think we should be putting more into that rather than pro rata.
Apart from the Challenge Cup final, there hasn't been a streamed game this season, has there?
No, because the format
Not properly.
The format hasn't worked this year
No.
particularly well. That they had the Challenge Cup and then they've had the Super League, and it needed. The Super League is only eight rounds, and then it splits into the playoffs or 9 rounds, and it hasn't quite worked since we won the World Cup, but it's salvageable. It's the best product we've got, and that's not just me saying it because I love it.
You're on the group.
I just love it. I'm only on the group because I love it.
I was being sardonic
It's all to do with
and destructive.
we played at the Copper Box in the World Cup. It's a prestigious venue.
Yeah.
It's not Dewsbury.
Jeez, you've just
really
incited
excited
all
for
the
Tuesday, aren't we? Oh, no.
all the Rams.
But you know what I mean? A Super League game played at Dewsbury is exactly the wrong image. Chris Radlinski said that. So, that ain't news. But to be able to play Tottenham Hotspur against London Roosters at the Copper Box, filmed on the BBC or Sky, you've got something.
We have got something, we just don't know what to do with it. Halifax beat Sheffield 80-24. Leeds won 98-0 against Hull. They were very disappointed not to get 100. I was there. I was sat right up I was sat next to the Hull bench.
Is it the renaissance of Leeds because they got beaten the week before?
Well, that's what it sounded like, didn't it? Speaking to James Simpson-Hill. He knows these things. So, yeah, I think they gave themselves a kick up the backside.
Tristan Norfolk, did he play well against
He did. He scored a hat-trick in the first half. You can see him and Cam Hill's interviewed on the YouTube and Facebook. Hopefully Johnny Boy Ward's okay. She got injured in the first half.
Oh no!
So they lost their captain.
But, like her.
Yeah, she scares us.
Character.
She is a character.
Marketable character.
Violent. Pink
Freya
hair.
Levy, marketable character.
She's
character.
violent. No, she's violent.
She can defend.
Yeah. I've been on the pitch with her. London 70, Wigan 0. Well done to League Express for having the up-to-date league tabling, because on the RFL website it was completely to cock on Saturday. So I didn't know what was going on. But well done to them. This week's
Sheffield Edinburgh
this week it is on Saturday afternoon. That's a good game,
It's
isn't
a
it?
shame Castleford are playing Leeds at the same time.
Sunday it's Hull versus London, and also on Saturday it's Halifax versus Leeds. It's not.
No, it isn't.
It's not happening. Congratulations to Ewan Clibbens and Mrs. Clibbens' future.
Yep.
If she's taking his name, who are getting married this week.
Which is why Leeds won't be playing.
Nearly got injured on Saturday. He was holding his throat. I just don't think he wants to do a speech. That's what I was told anyway. On Sianel Pedwar Cymru, which we're all big fans of now.
Massive.
All tuning in all the time. I'm sure they're swearing at us all the time. Because we won't know. We won't know.
Well, they would, because there's the odd English word in
It's
most
great, isn't
sentences.
it? And déjà vu, which apparently is déjà vu in Welsh.
Who knew?
Wales 0, England 62. I say what I said last week. I think it was a bit... is it closer than I thought? Because Wales weren't great against Scotland. Or is that because I underplayed Scotland? I don't know. But England won anyway. I wouldn't say they bounced back from their defeat in Vegas necessarily, as some people
That was funny.
The good thing for England was they had 4 debutants scoring.
Yeah.
So there's the start of a new generation of Grace Banks, Izzy Rowe, again, marketable properties.
Izzy Rowe's post-match interview was brilliant.
Lovely.
But
And incredibly endearing for an 18-year-old.
But one of their best players was too busy scoring tries for the Cowboys in the rain of Bankwest.
But she will be able to play in the World Cup, you would think.
Yeah, she will be an asset, as will be the Newcastle Knights.
Georgia Roach, yeah.
Yeah.
And Paige
Travis and Holly May Dodd.
Yeah.
And it'd be good to see them play in the World Cup, because that's the next time we're going to bloody see them play, because of the bloody useless sport. should be playing France, should be playing Wales, should be playing Scotland. I know that there's no great benefit because England are going to beat France. They're going to beat
But
Wales. They're
there
going to
is
beat
for their
Scotland.
opponents.
Exactly. We need to play games, and we need now. And I'm convinced of this. Next season in the Women's Super League, Cardiff need to be in there because they make up the majority of the Welsh national team. And if they're playing week in, week out against the likes of St Helens and Leeds and Wigan and York and Huddersfield and whatever,
It's higher intensity.
they're going to improve because that's what we're saying about Wales need to play against England. If their club side is playing against those clubs every other week.
Well, I would have London in there as well.
And
I'll
London
promote
there as well.
both.
And let's face it, Cardiff this season, they haven't called off any games because they haven't got players. And London, I don't think, have done the same.
And they're both
So
top
some of
of
their
the,
northern
both top
opponents
of the
have.
championship,
So
which is a level that they were promoted into just to see if they could handle it. They've lost one game each.
are they going to win Super League? No. Are they going to be competitive? Yes. And that's the
Are they
main
going to
thing.
improve? Yes. Is it a better story for the sport, like we've just been saying about wheelchair, that when you see the women's games and the BBC look at it and Sky look at it, they've got London and Cardiff in there rather than two teams in the north of England that they've never heard of.
I agree.
And again, it's a double header on Sunday at St Helens, Saints and Huddersfield, men and women, but only the men's games on. So I'm not saying it should be on TV, but it just makes sense if you're playing them at the
But
same place.
even to the point that
or
Wigan and
stream it
York
or something.
are going to play each other at Blaydon in a double header with a Newcastle Thunder men's game. First time there's ever been an elite women's game in the northeast of England. We can do that.
West Blaydon.
It's near Newcastle. Have you not heard of the Blaydon races?
No, I haven't.
I'll play you the song afterwards.
And apparently there's some rugby union tournament coming up soon involving women in this country, which I'm surprised that there hasn't been more made of the warm-up games on the TV. Oh, England hammered Spain the other week.
Well, I hammered France this
Yeah,
weekend.
you think France would be better, wouldn't you? But
I don't know. I just saw a score and thought, nobody's saying we should stop playing women's rugby union just because there's been a high score.
But,
Vegas, the death of women's rugby union.
But I mean, not. Yeah,
Rugby league.
I don't wish the mill. I've just got no interest in the tournament. But
I think the smell of someone's feet was the death.
when we
For one person. Anyway.
a friend of
How
mine,
indiscreet.
a friend of mine keeps sending me videos.
Sauce.
A source who's not a rugby league source, not one of those, keeps sending me videos of Ilona Maher doing stuff because she's famous. People know she is.
Yeah, she was on. Was it Dancing with the
Dancing with the Stars. I'm not actually sure if she's any good at rugby, but she's famous.
She's a big unit.
She's a big
strong.
unit.
She's
got a
strong.
podcast with her sisters. They
Well,
talk about
that's what I
lots
mean.
of rude things.
She promotes herself.
does,
Because she didn't get paid when she started, so she needed to get sponsors to be able to be an
She's
athlete.
mentioned the NRLW. Now we can't afford it in this country, but you know.
Yeah, get us signed up to
Yeah.
the Bronx.
I don't know any of the other
Wigan.
players. I don't know. Yeah.
Wigan.
They haven't got enough foreigners to.
But they
to
know
go
how
on
to
about.
promote.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like her content though, because her podcast with her sisters, it's a bit.
Saucy.
Is
Is it as dirty as Phil's mouth?
Talking about like.
Is it OnlyFans?
No, but it's. There's no way I can say what I was going to say.
Don't say it.
Without it. Yeah, exactly.
Don't
I'm not
say
going
it.
to say it because I
Don't
can't.
say it. Don't say
But
it.
it's.
Is it sardonic?
I don't know. Americans don't have sardonic. They don't have sarcasm. They don't have humour, do they?
What about the smart
They
ones?
certainly don't do irony.
No, like Germans. League One, which is off this week apparently,
Why is there no League One this week?
because no one can be asked for that.
Oh, okay. Because every team played this week, but no team played.
I
Programme-
don't think that was the official RFL.
No,
so
it is the official answer. That's what
no
they're
one
saying.
can be asked.
We've asked an RFL spokesperson, and they said, "No, it can't be bothered this week. No, go off down the pub."
That's tickled me.
But because it's a nonsense competition, because no one knows what's going on from week to week.
Or even if it's going to be the eights.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh,
what they were
Yeah,
aiming
Yeah,
for.
I apologise to people asking if we can talk about if there's going to be
Because we
eights, but
don't
we
know.
don't know.
No, they don't know. Read Mark Dunning's column,
damn-
who was
Yeah.
coaching Midlands Hurricanes.
He's not happy.
He's not happy because you plan for being in
Is
the
there-
eights and there's no
Phil,
eights.
is there anyone happy in this issue? Because Paul Cook's not
Nobody.
I'm
happy.
happy, I'm happy.
Brian Noble's not happy.
I'm happy.
That's a first.
I think. I can't remember what I've written. And
Anyone
I've
else?
twice.
No,
Unhappy?
I think it's a fair reflection of the announcements that
Unhappiness.
have been made
Yeah.
have caused consternation and lack of
I
clarity.
think you're just spreading more agendas, Phil, and I'm
Well,
disappointed.
I'm quite happy to be proud.
We have to get behind and support
Oh.
the owners. They know what's best, Phil.
Yeah, you don't need checks and balances. You
No.
don't need to hold
Accountability,
people to account.
no.
I want to be Pravda.
And if we
Not.
get, and as I said last week, if we get Cardiff in the Women's Super League, S4C might show some games.
Well, the other thing
I'm
is
sure you're getting paid by it.
I'm getting paid by the Welsh public broadcaster.
the other thing about
You're
that,
getting paid in Welsh
They've got a
cakes.
they've got a smaller budget than we have.
but
You're
it's
getting
a,
paid in Gavin and Stacey DVDs.
no Welsh,
No,
Welsh
no,
cakes.
no,
The thing about S4C's
don't
coverage.
call them.
The thing about S4C's coverage is they have covered 2 women's games where before the Scotland game was played and the England game, they knew their Welsh team was going to lose. Not so much against Scotland, because Scotland were new, but they knew the England game that the Scotland game was building up for, Wales were going to lose. It was a matter of by how many they were. But it's a national public service broadcaster, and because it's Wales are playing, we want to cover it. Does that not tell us anything?
And a lot of them speak Welsh.
Roland Phillips speaks both. I'm very impressed.
Roland.
Very
I've enjoyed that was a reference when they started calling him Roland. I thought there's one for a certain type of audience are going to love this now. It was great.
Straight
I've
over my
got
head.
no
I have
idea what he's
No,
talking about. Yeah,
On Grange Hill, Roland, his mate.
didn't watch it for a long time.
I'm too old to have seen it.
Some of the people watching this. Phil's just said 80 minutes in and we started talking about the games. No, because we're talking about Grange Hill now. League One. Oh, hang on, no, Cat's been on. I love Ilona Marr. Not a fan of Union, but I'm going to the World Cup at York and Salford because because of her influence, I'm easily impressed.
Not to repeat previous podcast, but we've talked about this before. Younger people follow stars.
Yeah.
They don't. I think you've said about Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
They might necessarily be Broncos or NRL fans, but they want to see
He's
stars.
a good-looking guy.
Okay, we don't need to talk about your
got
sexuality.
lovely hair.
He's got lovely eyes.
He's
Penny Elias likes
Great
his
hair,
eyes.
great hair.
No, but that's true. They want personalities and they'll follow. Yeah.
I'm not safer to talk about which men's players have got lovely hair than anything else, so that's where we'll go. Dewsbury 20, Workington 36.
Great result for Workington.
Tom Liner, man of the match, as Gull beat Swinton 28.
Your favourite player.
The Flying Pig.
Massive win for Gould. Gould get beat
After-
50-0
big-
at home by
yeah.
Rochdale when they come back to
The man.
the David Beckham pleasure ground.
Yeah.
And
What?
It's the Victoria Pleasure Ground, it's called.
That's a bit naughty.
and Swinton are the form
Gould
team
for-
in the division, and Gould beat them. That is a massive
Can we-
result. For
can
them.
we-
636 there.
Can we find out if Tom Lynham still thinks that COVID was a hoax or
I've got the clip still if you want me to find it.
Is
I don't
it-
think he
yeah.
said it was a hoax. He said
it was a conspiracy?
he said
wasn't
Boris
it?
Johnson having COVID was a...
I thought he said the whole thing was.
No, just Boris Johnson.
Okay, well,
On the Leeds
I
Rhinos-
apologise.
On the Leeds
I
Rhinos
apologise.
official podcast
With Brad Dwyer.
with Brad Dwyer.
I apologise.
Salford's Brad Dwyer. Is he Salford's Brad Dwyer this week as well?
I think
he
he's
will be.
Lee. No, I think they're only 1 week loans.
I think he won't feature for Lee this week, so they'll loan him back. I think it's a loan on a weekly basis. So.
Like a rolling contract
He
like
scored.
Brad Arthur.
He scored. Yeah, a rolling contract of a week.
Although any Wakefield fans going on Sunday, don't applaud when they score a try. Oh, it's a bit...
Well, that's going to be interesting because I think there will be
100
either a
nil or
march.
Powell out. That's what I'm
There'll
saying
be a
now.
march by the Salford fans, and I mean, I think there is talk of a pitch invasion at the end of the game, or I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
don't do that. I should say don't do that. But
Well, I'm not advising Salford fans to do or not do anything, but I mean, you've got to do, I guess, what you think is right, and yeah.
the Wednesday
Power
fans
to the
turn
people.
up. Yeah.
Well, if they want to protest, they want to protest.
Yeah.
They have my sympathies.
Wednesday fans turning up 5 minutes into their game yesterday.
Well, that was interesting because I watched some of that game yesterday. And Wednesday had a shirt sponsor of Mr. Vegas, which, I don't know, is that Johnny Vegas's company? But Leicester City didn't seem to have a shirt sponsor at all.
No.
So how does that work when one
Well, I
of
think
them's
we're coming
paying for
towards the end of football clubs being sponsored by...
companies? Are they that rich they don't need sponsorship? Wow.
Well, no. Like bookmakers or whatever, or cryptocurrency, whatever.
But there are other sponsors out there, yeah.
Potentially cryptocurrencies, yeah. Keighley 56, Newcastle 0. Up the Cougars. Rochdale 20, North Wales 16, Whitehaven 26,
That's
Midlands
again
16.
another great result for Rochdale. North Wales, like Midlands, suffering run defeats at the moment. It would have been a great end to the season if we only knew what they were playing for.
So what do the bottom 6 teams play for? Or is that... I think we've been for this before, and I can't
Fine
remember.
piece.
Yeah. From Higgs Pies.
Night out in Batley.
Second prize, 2 nights out in Halifax. In the Championship, Friday night under the lights. Whoa, this sounded like a good game. Bradford 18, Doncaster 12.
It was.
Doncaster leading, but Bradford coming home with a wet sail to win that one in front of 3,500.
Yeah, last Friday night lights that they've tried at Bradford, and they've all gone pretty well.
So they're trying, so that's good. Halifax are back beating Sheffield 46-6. Sheffield, it's just not happening.
Not this year.
At Odsal. The bright lights of Odsal only got 1,273 there from Halifax. So Halifax are playing at Bradford, and Huddersfield are going to play at Halifax. And
Maybe we could have a Tri-Nations between.
Oh, they merge. Huddersfield Panthers. Giant Panthers. Phil says we don't have enough fans to fill a quarter of the field. Oh, poor Phil.
Harsh.
I'm trying to think of things they can do to protest that are legal, but you're not allowed to like throw paper aeroplanes or anything, can you? So.
I think they've probably changed the protest laws too.
Yeah. Don't take any flags, lads. London 18, Toulouse 24.
Again, Toulouse winning it very late on. That was a good performance from London.
Which reminds me of something I need to talk about after the programme. Oldham 44, Barrow 30. Another good win for Oldham.
Ryan Briley and Jack Ormondroyd both scoring on that.
But have they signed George Ford yet?
George Formby?
George Ford. Oh. I don't know who he
Little
is.
ukulele.
Yeah. When's Owen Farrell signing? When's he coming back?
I don't think he's signing.
When they get Super League, obviously.
I don't think they'll be in Super League next year. But
Well, they might be. We don't
I
know.
think they've got,
What's in Lord Kane's brain? We don't
they've
know.
got to play the game though, haven't they?
Yeah, it's
I was going to say
They've got
rugby
to
league
se-
or
no, they've
no.
got to
Because
sell to
witness
their
have
public
sent,
that
witness have
they're-
sent.
Oh yeah,
their
I understand. But I think the issue is their crowds.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think
I
there
don't think
seems
they're
to be.
ready yet to
No.
be. There's
Super
a
League
lot of
ready.
great plans about turning it into a 90
But
million
any of
pound
those
site.
are
for-
any of those clubs ready to be in Super League?
Well, I think we had a very good debate last week about why 14 is false economy.
We did.
Widnes 30,
we won't
Batley
rehash.
10, and I forgot to mention Hunslet 0, York Knights 56. That's 15 in a row or something stupid now for Mark Applegarth Super Knights.
There is going to be a really interesting scramble for the 12th spot in the IMG gradings, because if we assume that Salford are dropping out and that even if their grading may well drop below the top, the 12th team is guaranteed.
I think it'll be Bradford.
York, Bradford and Toulouse are desperate to win the championship final because there's another point.
I think it'll be Bradford.
I'm just saying, it's interesting.
Yeah. That's
If
just
Tou-
my
If
expectation.
Toulouse are 12th, you'll be able to hear some chairman crying from this very studio.
If I'm wrong, then I'll hold my hand up.
But if they do, then that takes the pressure off somebody who might be the chair of the RFL because his team will have got in by virtue
It's
of...
not his team anymore.
Well, he's a minor shareholder.
Fixtures this
And
week.
it is his team.
Toulouse Sheffield on Saturday. Sunday, Barrow Widnes, Batley Oldham, Doncaster Fev, Halifax
That's a big game.
Hunslet,
Doncaster
Fev,
Fed, they're next to each
the
other.
Paul Cook Derby,
Yeah, it's a big game.
York London. Apart from not playing this week.
No. I think their coach is on holiday this week.
Call
is
the game
that something that can't be asked?
Nobby's in Cyprus, so they've got a week off.
Not Cyprus, but it does begin with a C.
Canada?
Women's Super League fixtures this week.
Right?
He's got the Toronto
Not
Finals
guessing.
finding
Not
money.
guessing.
Barrow leads in Women's Super League. Lee,
Cornwall?
Wigan, St Helens, Huddersfield, and York versus Warrington. Oh dear. If Warrington can. Super League started with Lee Leopards 14, Leeds Rhinos 22. Leeds are back, as we know.
They didn't go anywhere this year.
So that was it was on Thursday, though. It was ages away. We don't want to talk about it. We've talked enough about Leeds. Leeds are great, aren't they?
It was a great game.
It was a really good game.
It was a high intensity playoff standard game. Defences were great. So, a few chances were brilliantly created. So some of the tries were Leeds' winning try was great, but Lee managed to exploit the right hand side of Leeds.
The rookie right hand side.
The rookie right hand side, and it was great. It was a really good game. Josh Charney had the opportunity to win it for Lee. Leeds went down the other end and won it. A couple of tries were ruled out. Both sides thought that their tries were wrongly ruled out, so you get some contention, which
There's
is
a
what
bit
you want.
of niggle
No, it was
after a
great.
try.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
re-
thought-
it was a re- and
thought it was a good
hats
contest.
off again to Lee for 8,000 fans. It made a great atmosphere.
Definitely.
The only marginal criticism we have Why do the flares go off during play?
So
I thought it was more about Morrison's.
Ah, bastards.
you know
How dare they shut the cafe at 3 o'clock?
you know the president of the United States of America has the button,
Yes,
the big
the
button,
Coca-Cola
the
button.
big red button.
No, the Coke button.
You can open it. It's coming in a box. Press boom, and then we go boom, and then we're all done. Is that what happens?
But he's got a Coca-Cola button as well.
Is that a
so-
Coca-Cola? Yeah, but not that one.
Somebody runs
Where's
in
the
there.
where's
Not
the
that
Big
one, this
Macs? Is that a different button?
But yeah, apparently we don't know where the button is sighted
The
at
button.
Lee, but we think we know.
So the button, the smoke goes off for no apparent reason. Surely that's not against. That must be against the operational rules. You can't have a game going on and then smoke goes off. You put the players off, put the referees off.
Not accountable to you, Rich.
Well, no.
Fans can't see because smoke's
Yeah.
in front of them.
Sites
You
overrated.
not the
don't, you
fans.
don't need it during play. In the same way you don't need music during play, you don't need
They
that.
have it in Australia though.
But it was really
Don't have
good.
smoke.
they don't
though.
have
We have
atmosphere.
bushfires, so it's
It was
natural.
really, really good. Great game.
It was. I thought it was good entertainment.
And
yeah.
again, this battle for the top four is fantastic because now you've got Leeds and St Helens every week looking at each other's results.
Well, the
And,
big results for obviously Leeds, but for St Helens and
yeah,
and Hull FC. Obviously, Hull FC is expected, but in terms of leapfrogging Wakefield, and then St Helens
Yeah.
have really hit some form, haven't they?
they were great.
Considering
Friday night, they were great.
how much they copped
And
early in the
it's
season.
safe to say that
Welland's in.
Wakefield didn't benefit from having a week off.
That's what Mr. Powell said, wasn't it?
So they go from. I didn't stay for the press conference. I had to get back from Mr. Callum. They're up there having won the cup final, ground full, everybody dancing on the pitch, brilliant. Then they all go to Benidorm for a week because they need to. I'm not criticising whatever holiday any
Cup final.
player.
That's very sardonic.
And then
Well, don't forget, he's got another cup final on Saturday.
the
The Ryder Cup final.
Who's that?
Castleford.
they just weren't. They weren't at the races. So Saints stranglehold on the game. Their starts to matches now are really good. 20 points up inside 25 minutes. They were never going to lose. Real intensity about the positions that the players are playing in. They look really comfortable with. Where early in the season perhaps they didn't. Their packages are monstrous. The last two games they've won 40-0 and 34-4. That's the kind of form you want to be in at this time of the year. They look really good.
But Paul Wellens is clueless.
And George Delaney is playing
Yeah.
next week.
I think he was lucky. I think in a different day he would have
It was much
spent
easier.
the rest of the game on the sidelines.
And in the lovely chairs now at Bellevue as opposed to those crap ones we used to have. In the old days when you used to hit somebody in the head and you got sent off and there was no mitigation, it was easier. Now everyone's the mitigation and you don't know what's happening. So
We do need, if we are going to have a voiceover saying that there is mitigation, both the watching audience on TV and, importantly, the audience in the stadium need to know what that is.
But a good day for the Walmsley family as both Lachlan and Alex scored.
We use that on the commentary.
Well, I wasn't listening, so I didn't see
No,
that,
I wouldn't.
But, so well done, St Helens. 3 wins out of 3 against Wakefield this year.
Yeah, there are some teams that have the wood over others. And,
Well, I'd rather it was St Helens than say.
isn't it the
Leeds
8th
or
time
Castleford.
in a row that St Helens have won it
Oh, is it?
away at Wakefield?
God.
Yeah.
That's going to get dragged out now, isn't it? Yeah. Why can't you win against St Helens?
So it
'Cause
wasn't
they're
quite the
good.
game we were expecting in terms of it being cut and thrust, but you couldn't help but admire St Helens. And they've got Jack Wellsby and Batchelor to come back.
Why do Warrington only get themselves up for big games, the players? Because they did against Wigan at Wembley, and they did against Wigan this week, and yet they probably
Hull
won't make the
Cow.
playoffs.
Hull, they didn't get up against Wigan at
And-
Wembley
and-
the year before, but
well,
they did against
Oh,
Hull
sorry,
Cow this year.
okay. And they didn't get up against Huddersfield the other week, because Huddersfield,
I-
not very good.
I haven't seen any of this.
But their super coach, who never gets criticised.
I haven't seen any of this because I was at Wakefield, as indeed Matt Duffy hasn't seen any of this.
I was having dinner at an Italian place, but I did watch the highlights, and it was quite an entertaining game. Warrington had a real dig. I think Wigan will be quite happy with the way they kind of toughed out the win. Zach Ackersley continues to impress.
So we're going to have to talk about this week's game.
I think this
One
Friday
against
night's
two.
game should be a
that,
beauty.
is that great preparation for Wigan that they had to tough it out, or should
I
they,
think so.
do you think
Yeah.
they would rather be in slightly better form at the moment?
I think they'd love to be in better form, but I think they have been in a bit of a slump, and I think there are results in the performance to show that. But I think there has been a bit of hysteria in the fact that they're still second.
Yeah.
If they win on Friday, they're 2 points behind. They still could win the league. And if they don't
But if they don't win on Friday, they don't win the league.
No, but if they finish second, it's not really
No, but it's another of their trophies has gone.
Yeah, but you can't, as you know, Phil, as being a Leeds fan, you can't win every game nor every season.
No, but
and they won in 2023. They won in 2024.
It will be hurting them.
Of course.
That they had 4, and they'll only have potentially 1 left to go for. So
without a doubt,
they need to win on Friday night.
I don't think there's a lack of motivation or anything.
No, I think this is a game that they will be massively up for.
Yes, I think so. Well, have they won, off the top of my head, and I could be wrong here, is it the last 4 against Hull KR? Obviously went to Hull KR.
Oh, yeah, because of course it's Jack Smith's fault, isn't it? Yeah, the referee cost Hull KR all those games.
Was that dickhead? Yeah, that guy.
We've had it all.
Obviously, they beat them in the grand final, and then they beat them at Wigan.
At Hull KR.
And then they obviously knocked them out of the cup. So, you would say that Wigan is the kind of the monkey on Hull KR's back.
But I also think that it's a massive game for Hull KR because they need to prove to themselves that they can win a game like this.
Yes.
Particularly when it gets to playoffs.
Yes.
But Wigan need to win it because they need to hold on to one of their trophies for as long as they can.
Definitely.
This will be sensational.
Yeah, I think hopefully 20,000 people should be. Since Wigan went to Hull KR and beat them, what was in April?
Yeah,
I've been looking forward to this game.
For both
There's
clubs.
been so many shit games else around. This one's been.
And it's the only game on Friday night. It's the only game on.
What's going on? Is there 48 games on Sunday?
Yeah, but the Premiership's back, isn't it, Friday night?
No, is it? Yeah, it'll be a rubbish game. They don't put Man United on Friday night, do they? I know Man United are good.
Man United, what is this, 1995?
Well, yeah, but they're famous, aren't they? It's not going to be Liverpool versus Arsenal or something. It'll be Bournemouth versus Forest. Now we go. Yeah.
I'll look it up for you while you...
Hull KR 36, Castleford 6. I didn't watch this because I was at the wheelchairs, but that sounds like... I think I tipped Hull KR by 38, so that sounds exactly about almost what it was going to be.
I watched some of it. I think it went mostly
as you'd expect.
To plan. I think Castleford showed probably a bit more fight early on.
Castleford without their new coach being announced.
Oh,
it was supposed to be announced, wasn't it?
Talking of rumours.
Oh.
Stop peddling them.
I'm just going to tell you what the Friday...
Football on Friday.
I don't think people for the Premier League official is.
Because they might think... Well,
they've heard of Google.
Liverpool.
Bournemouth.
Wow. I've got Bournemouth right.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, but Liverpool will win that 4-0 or something.
82-0.
Yeah. Don't know if this is a conspiracy theory or not.
Oh, hang on.
I'm only repeating something I've heard.
Oh, that sounds
Not
dangerous.
from the most reputable source, but a
Have you been
source
talking?
This would be in the chicken one. Castleford's new head coach will be...
Oh.
Is this like you got right with the Catalans coach?
Paul Rowley.
Oh, well, I've not heard that.
Sorry, Phil.
That one of the reasons that it was delayed from this week is that he wasn't considered to be on the shortlist.
Oh, but because
he probably isn't going to be the director of rugby at Salford next year, because there probably won't be a position for the director of rugby, that Cass may want to sneak in and steal.
Another club where he may have gone where he knows the director of rugby have got a coach for next year.
Well,
but he was never going there.
My understanding of the Salford position was, what was it, Thursday, when things got a lot worse. My understanding was he was weighing up whether to walk. I did approach him for a comment. He didn't reply. Obviously, he was still... I think he lived 10 minutes from the ground. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think your point, obviously looking long-term future next year, or there may not be a club, or it may be a club in the Championship. Yeah. I've not heard that he's going to Castleford, but look, I think if you're Castleford, he's definitely a coach who...
He'd be a great fit.
Yeah. He's a coach.
Especially as they're rebuilding their team, and Chris Chester will get them some really good recruits.
Yes. Well, I think Chris Chester has got a very good eye for
Castleford historically, with the classy Cass moniker, play
like
the kind of rugby that Paul Rowley likes to coach. It's I don't know if this is fanciful, but it seems like a fit.
You're just spreading more rumours, and then
Ryan
Carr has announced.
Merely telling our audience as friends that is going round at the moment.
Well,
it may not be true.
No one listens or watches.
Well, if you're right, it's true. If it's wrong, then you
saying,
didn't hear it here first.
I haven't created that story. I merely
If we had,
Perpetuating it.
so it'll be in the chicken wing.
if we had
No,
a big
no, no.
audience, if we had
Only
a big
original
audience,
stuff. Only original stuff.
if we had a big audience or people listening or people watching, we'd brag about it, but we don't.
No, I'm just saying.
Well done, Hull KR. Mikey Lewis, we need to look after him because he gets so much abuse on social media. I know he plays like he's a git. I've only spoke to him once. I don't know what he's like in real life. And to be honest,
he's very shy and
you know what?
quiet.
I
Actually,
don't care what he's like in real life because it doesn't affect me and it doesn't affect the way he plays on the pitch. We need to protect these people. I've heard some stories about other things on social media involving rugby league players this week, which I'm not going to go into. And it worries me what's out there. I mean, if just don't be on it. I know some people have to. I know we said earlier.
Yeah.
You know,
well, we
need,
kind of have to be on it because we're in the video.
But we need
I
it
think
filtering somehow.
There's,
And I don't know
two
if we can do
protections of Mikey Lewis. One is his image, and we need him to be the modern face of the game. The other is the only ban this week is Jeremiah Simbikin, who hit him late.
I think he was. I'm not sure if I saw that one. That was.
But that's the only.
He
player
was
who's
committed.
been
He was committed. He wasn't a dirty.
I wasn't
act.
there. I like to see it live to get an
Yeah.
impression rather than here's an angle that you might have not seen. And yeah, the referee thought he was late. The
I
match
think
review panel
as a
backed it
halfback,
up.
you play at the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But we need to look after him.
We've only got 2 games left to talk about, which is good because
We're not doing too hard.
I need to go home.
Well, exactly. We've already talked
I need
about.
to open the biscuit.
We talked about Hull and Salford. There's nothing else we can say about Hull and Salford.
I don't want to
exactly
say
as we
anything
thought.
else about
It's a clusterfuck.
Yeah. You see, we've got
We've
all
got
this way into the
every
programme.
single one in there. Apart from
Yeah, don't say
you
that
dare.
one. No.
Well,
I'm
the
gonna have to
perfectly cromulent word.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put like the explicit tag on iTunes now. Huddersfield 18,
Harry,
Catalan
don't
6.
listen.
Yeah. Huddersfield 18, Catalan 6. I didn't watch it, so I watched the women's game instead.
It was a
'cause
tough
you know,
watch. I
even though
did
knew
fall
what was going
asleep
on,
during the
okay.
game, but even when I was awake, those bits, it was a tough.
And here's proof of what we said over and over again on this programme, because Huddersfield are the most boring of clubs for offers and ways of getting people in the ground.
He's from Huddersfield.
Yeah, I mean, people think I hate Salford. I don't hate Huddersfield. I said it on the programme enough.
And Leeds.
And Leeds. But only the men. Only the men.
Wigan.
Only the men.
And
That's
Wigan.
for historic.
Only the men.
And
Not
Leeds.
the women and the wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Right. Huddersfield.
Okay.
So boring, so moribund of ideas that, and I know all clubs do this, but you can't just put the tickets down again and say, come watch us play Catalans because they've got no fans.
Yeah.
Come watch the game. We're rubbish. Come watch the game. Don't do anything else. There's no entertainment. You haven't got to, Wakefield,
And there was no food in the fan zone because somebody was ill.
Wakefield played.
Happens.
No, I'm just saying. But you think it might be down to more than just one person?
Here's a bad
it's
example.
One person.
Here's a bad example because I've said earlier in the programme, Salford had the Happy Mondays, didn't they? But they had the Happy Mondays.
And they paid the Happy Mondays.
They
Hindsight,
didn't want Bez going around.
as you say, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Wakefield, in one of our great eras of not great management, got diversity off of Britain's Got Talent to do the pre-match entertainment against the Crusaders, because you know the Crusaders, they were dance acts, but they were the
Is
best.
that an old wooden ship from the Civil War?
No, that's the Dreadnoughts. That's us.
All right.
But they had diversity on before the game, and it was without a doubt the best pre-match entertainment I've ever seen. And the tickets were a tenner, and it got a lot of people in to see it, and the club still went kaput because the management were Burks. But you can't just say to people, we're playing Cat. No, it's all right for Wakefield to do it the week before, because Wakefield are playing well, and people are going to come and
Wakefield
watch.
had a promotion against Catalan that saw over 8,000 people in the ground because it was geared specifically at young people and community clubs.
Me and Rich were there.
And it worked.
And the
Not
irony,
for the young people.
You weren't
but,
young people.
the irony is that
Middle-aged
I think
people?
the tickets against Huddersfield in a couple of weeks are £15, which is cheaply. Come watch Huddersfield, they're rubbish.
I
you can't just keep. This is every
Watch us
single
beat.
time.
That's
watch
what
us beat
makes us
Huddersfield,
submission. Put on 50 on them.
But you can't just keep doing every single time Huddersfield want to do something. It's tickets are cheap. When Leeds do one of their, didn't they have some creepy crawlies or something against Salford? They had loads of daft things going on around the ground for kids. The 100 cricket, right? Everyone hates the 100 who's a traditional cricket fan, but it's not just the cricket. They've got a DJ. They've got bands on. There's stuff going on around the ground for kids to do. It's a gateway drug to proper cricket.
There is a problem with the 100 though.
What's that?
If you watch it on the telly,
Yeah.
and you're a casual viewer, and you don't know who the teams are, The graphics are terrible.
Skips
You can't-
versus hula
Is
hoops.
can't
there
tell.
sledging?
You can't even
Is
tell who
there-
the teams are.
Skips versus hula hoops. So
Is,
you got a nice one
is
to throw
there
at
someone
crisps.
batting with one arm? Like I'm not
2 new
interested
flavours for
otherwise.
Walkers been announced.
That's a segue.
But-
Have we got on to
Teriyaki and masala. They're joining a full range as well. Hasn't happened for decades. In the shops this week.
Honestly, one anyway. I don't care about it.
I
Still
have
got
they've got to do
a bung from Walker's Crisps.
I have some sympathy
Jesus
with
Christ.
Huddersfield and the way they play because they've lost so many players through injury. But it was a little bit 5 drives and a kick and George Flanagan.
But look, when you're that bad and you've won
Yeah.
that league,
Yeah.
less amount of games, then I don't hold them against that.
No.
A win is a
Catalan.
win.
Stank the place.
Yeah.
Chris says
Again.
we need an interchange of the guests for next week, so you're off. That's it, John. You're
All right,
not allowed
that's
on
fair
next
enough.
week. So
I'm in the Peak District anyway.
I think
so it works for me.
thank goodness for that.
Do we know what song Mr. Mascot is playing?
I've not heard.
No,
It's some sort of death metal, wouldn't it?
I've been enjoying his sale on eBay. I'm trying to bid on a New Zealand Warriors polo shirt. Apparently it's in 3XL, so that'll fit. But the Parramatta vests in Junior XL, no.
I think
Don't use
Where is that handkerchief?
Right,
I think it's about time he played some Steely Dan.
Steely Dan. I think that's it, isn't it? That is it.
That is it.
Yeah.
We've run out of things.
Well, we
There's
haven't.
too it's-
We could go on
Oh
for
no,
another 3
y'all! There's
hours.
plenty of stuff I can tell you off the air, but I'll tell you that in a minute. Because even though we've done swearing and stuff, we
That's the
don't-
bonus.
We don't
The
do
bonus to
swearing.
Fanmetry.
We don't do swearing. We're not supposed to. We're not like all those other podcasts.
There was only one person that really did swear.
I think it was
The
mostly
Australian
Phil.
fella, yeah.
No, it
Mostly
wasn't.
Phil with his B words.
That's perfect. It's in the dictionary.
I mean, I was going to bleep.
They're
out-
all in the dictionary, Phil. Urban
Oh,
Dictionary.
And on that
Ooh,
bombshell,
smell of chocolate.
we're going to eat some biscuits. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next Monday because it's not a bank holiday next Monday, but it's the week after. I didn't realise that. But we'll be back. We'll be back next Monday. Thanks for watching. Good luck, Salford. Enjoy your march.
Good luck to.
But I still hope Wakefield score 100 past you.
Good luck to Mr. Child who's on the beach in North Yorkshire.
Oh, there you go. He'll be back at some point. And fingers crossed there will be some guests coming on
No good.
midweek podcast, but it depends on when they get back to me.
Hey, never mind that. The biscuits are good.
Biscuits good. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the... Oh, I didn't record it. Never mind. Enjoy...